Zalewski.
And I'm Kaila Henry, and we are Realtors over at Realty One Group Peak in Bozeman, Montana.
Today, Kaila and I just have been sitting here kind of chatting about Bozeman in general. Kind of telling you what you may expect, some kind of factual thing. I mean, it's all factual, I guess, but we just giving you a little bit more of an idea of what Bozeman is like in terms of what you might see or find. One of the things when I was moving here that I thought was really funny was I read in several different places that the dress attire in Bozeman, everybody either looks like they're going skiing or if they just got done skiing or going on a hike or just got done with a hike.
You know, one of my colleagues at my old brokerage used to call that was mountain money.
Mountain money, I guess.
So.
Well, they also make fun of people, Patagucci.
That was it. That's the mountain money, is where you wear these seemingly,
right?
Maybe not, everybody knows Patagonia. It's a great brand.
Right.
But,
no, own a lot of it. Not disparaging anything,
Patagonia. But it's not inexpensive clothing. But sometimes it can look like it is because you wear it outdoors and it gets stained, ripped, burnt.
If you're doing it right.
Yeah.
But so I would say in general, less Louis Vuitton, more Patagucci.
Now, do you feel like that has changed some over the years as Bozeman's grown? I feel like, I've been here since 2014, and I do feel like I've noticed a slight change in...
More Louis Vuitton?
A little bit. And again, I'm going to say slight, but I also think that has to do with Big Sky's expansion.
What about just tourism?
Tourism, I would say less so.
I feel like when I see somebody that is clearly like... Well, this is also, and please go on to different forums, like different Facebook groups. You're going to learn a lot about Bozeman that's not as regulated as some of the things that Kaila and I should not say. But like if you see a guy wearing skinny jeans, cowboy boots, and a cowboy hat and a Patagonia vest, it is likely that he is not, nor ever has been, a cowboy, or maybe even local. But those are just kind of some broad generalizations.
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of different people come to Bozeman, for various reasons, and I do think tourism has very much changed our town some, right, for good and for bad. And regardless, it's one of the big reasons why I think Bozeman continues to be a thriving place. I know we were also talking about MSU.
Right.
I think that these two factors really make a big deal for Bozeman in creating a space and a place where people can live and be, right? So, I'm from Durango, Colorado, and my father always told me that town would not be on the map if it wasn't for the narrow gauge railroad. So again, a tourism town, but very much relying on these things that some of the locals will tease and make fun of and joust at. But we also need to remember that if we didn't have these driving forces for a lot of our economy, it would be a very different town and a very different city to live in.
Yeah, no, right? Absolutely. I think that one of the best parts about Bozeman, and I have lived all over the country, like nearly coast to coast. I've sold real estate in 3 different markets, and there are things that I want to make sure that people are aware of, that only because in other places that I worked, people said, oh, hey, how could I have moved here and bought a home and I never knew this? So, for example, we were talking about the university. I think one of the best parts about Bozeman is that we are a university town. The university, 17,000 currently enrolled, something like that, provides a huge labor force for retail and food and beverage specifically, but also I think kind of moving forward, just all those jobs that as a 27-year-old you might not necessarily want, but as a 22-year-old are perfect. And I think that the strong influence in retail and food and bev of these kids helps us have some great restaurants in
really
town.
Great restaurants.
And I am a firm believer in either being a bartender or being a waitress.
At some point in your life, we should all do those things. I fully agree.
But it teaches you a lot about teamwork, about your value in
people,
moving. Yeah.
Customer service, real estate, restaurants. It teaches you so much about life.
Yeah, but I think the MSU, keeping in mind that this is a university town, is probably pretty important when you're thinking about moving here. Along with that, hey, Saturdays and Bobcat football in the fall is a major deal.
Big time.
Yeah, and it's super fun to have that vibe.
Especially because we just won the World Championships.
National Championships. National Championship, yes. And along with that, Bozeman loves a parade. We have parades for just about anything, but we did have a great parade for the National Championship. They have a St. Patrick's Day parade. There's a turkey trot, I think. We have a Christmas parade, 4th of July, Veterans Day.
Ladies' Night. Downtown Bozeman does a ton of fun things for the city, for the town, because, again, they just really appreciate, I think there's a lot of energy that people capitalize on.
Yep.
Which makes it a really fun place to live. It's really awesome to live in a town that has such a vibrant downtown community, again, college atmosphere.
Yeah.
One of my things, kind of jumping back to that really quick, we see a lot, and again, know this from now working in real estate for 7-8 years, frequently we'll see the kids find Bozeman, come to MSU here, parents will visit, and then they're like, wow, this is a really great town.
Yeah.
Kids will often stay after college because, again, it is a great place to live. And so then sometimes we'll find that parents are now relocating to Bozeman based off of the fact that their children went to MSU and are staying here and looking to start a family of their own. So that, to me, is a whole sector of business that is driven from MSU that, again, impacts, obviously, like we said, those restaurants, but then also, to me, larger industries outside of just MSU if parents are still working, and of course real estate.
Yeah,
right?
and I think that one of the things that, as you were saying, that whole MSU kind of vibe and what it does to our economy. So in some ways, it helps keep Bozeman very young.
Yeah, I think the average age is like 34.
Probably
from the census. Maybe double check me on that, but I do think it's young.
Yeah, and I think it's not only like actual age young, but also the people that move here. Well, okay, so most of the people, like if you looked at MSU's demographics, it's like South Dakota, North Dakota, some Colorado, Minnesota, Wisconsin a little bit. But so you see that those parents move here because, hey, this is better than Minnesota a little bit. I think it's way better than Minnesota because I'm from Wisconsin. But, hey, we've got mountains and we've got, dangerous bears and stuff like that. But when you see those people come into town that have the same vibe and the same love of the outdoors and that kind of thing, it makes for a very vibrant community. I think also that a lot of people moving here, let's say in their 50s, they've got kids in college or whatever. And I don't want to be too specific about demographics, but pre-retirees or early retirees, they come in, they want to be outside. They're out doing all the things. They move into Triple Tree and they're on the Triple Tree Trail every day, or out to Black Bowl and playing golf every day, or here in the Legends and playing at Bridger Creek every day, climbing the M Trail. Like everybody is here because they love to be outside. People move here and don't want to be outside. I don't understand it, and I don't think they last very long. It's really part of the culture.
Well, and it's something, I moved here specifically for the skiing, and because it was similar to the town I grew up in and went to college in. And when I was looking to relocate, to me, I was very specific in that I didn't want to lose the qualities of Durango that I loved so much. Easy access to trails, a close ski area, 4 seasons, and a young community, right? So I was freshly graduated from college when I was looking to move. And so I wanted all of those things, and a very few towns fit all of those specific criteria, and Bozeman was one of them. And I still think that it is very true today, over 11 years later, now that I, have lived here for 11 years, all of those, reasons are still true. And I think a very big driver for why people come here is because you're looking for a similar place to other areas you've maybe looked in, or maybe different, but again, different for hopefully some of those reasons.
Right. We've discussed why I moved here. I'm originally from Wisconsin. I had been living in Arizona for 10 years, and my goal was to be able to get back to downhill skiing in an avid way. And so I wanted to be within 45 minutes of at least one major ski area. We have 2 here. I wanted there to be 4 seasons. The mountains were a bonus to me. And I wanted a relatively small community. So I grew up in Wausau, Wisconsin. And when I was growing up in the 70s in Wausau, Wisconsin, it was almost exactly the same size. about 60,000 people inside the city limits. We had a bus system. We had 2 high schools, very similar to Bozeman. One of the things that I think Bozeman has when we're talking about, coming and going and all that kind of stuff, our airport is absolutely fabulous. 3 million people in and out of there a year at this point, or last year, I guess, goes up every year. But one of the easiest airports I've ever navigated in my life.
It feels like the Durango airport with probably 5 times the direct flights or flight access.
Yeah. Major airlines are, there's Sun Country that goes in and out. There's Southwest. There's
Delta,
United. What's the Allegiant, yes.
Yep.
And so I just saw Delta's adding a direct flight. Well, we have direct flights to Minneapolis, which again we talked about how a lot of people come here from Minnesota. Direct flight to Denver, direct flight to Salt Lake City. I think there's a direct flight San Francisco you can get to directly.
There's a lot, honestly, there's a lot. So I think when I first moved here, I think Bozeman had, Ken, maybe don't quote me on this, but it was maybe 8 direct flights, and we have significantly more now.
Yeah,
we should look that up though. I would be curious about that.
Yeah, that slide deck that guy did.
Yeah,
but I think so. The one thing about the information that we got from the airport person a couple weeks ago, which we'll attach a link or something, or you can call us and get more information. But that only a third of the traffic of that 3 million people going in through the Bozeman airport was actually tourism. So people from Bozeman that live here and call this their home travel a lot because it's so easy.
Yeah.
It is so easy to get out of here. And you wonder, well, why would you want to get out of here? Well, sometimes we do need a little beach or a little ocean.
Yeah, and I think too, something, that I know can be a big consideration for some people's jobs, right? Mm-hmm. One of my best friends, her husband travels for work. Mm-hmm. And so moving to Durango was a big consideration for her because he now has to take 2 flights anytime he's traveling for work, which if you fly enough, it can be a huge pain in the butt. If you're flying into a mountain community, you can get delayed by weather, and that can lead you to getting home an entire day or a couple days later than you had originally planned, which if you're, again, traveling enough, those can be very real considerations for where you may or may not want to live. And so I do think that's one of the things that to me makes Bozeman so great, so unique, is that we still have the small town feel, small town airport, town, all those things, but we do have a lot of those larger amenities, including the airport, obviously a thriving college,
great dining,
Costco, the interstate being right here. Right. I grew up 3.5 hours away from the nearest interstate, and it's a different feel.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that having a lot of those driving factors really helps keep our economy pretty resilient.
Yep.
Very, very dynamic in the sense that, of course, you can fund or you have spaces for, again, those college kids, right? There's that wealth of part-time workers. And then you can kind of graduate and cycle up into the workforce as needed or wanted.
Yeah.
But then also you can then find folks, I know people that just work part-time at the golf course because they love being around golf and they want to get their membership for free.
Or Mountain House up at Bridger Bowl or down in Big Sky.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, now I'm going to lose it. One of the things that is interesting about Bozeman is that we have a high quality of medical care here.
Yes.
So being the fact that we are the nearest thing to Big Sky in terms of like orthopedic surgery, for example, but also that we have, while the population is not necessarily diverse, in terms of age and health of older people in this community, the older people, like an 80-year-old skiing Bridger Bowl is not uncommon.
Totally normal.
Every day.
Yeah.
So the people stay healthier for longer, and my mother's 89. I moved her here shortly after I moved here. We have been really, really happy with all the medical care that she's gotten. Eye doctors, internal medicine, GI doctors. My mom has one of all of them. But the medical care here is really great. We do have great, just great access to medical care. Not only access, but great quality. I know that the Bozeman Deaconess, the healthcare system here, does a partnership with Washington University Medical School. I'm pretty sure. So that they have a lot of people that come here to do kind of their
internships maybe.
Well, it's not called an internship when it's in medicine, but you know what I mean. So there's a great, and that of course brings more people into the community that decide they want to stay. So we do have a lot of transplants from Washington State and Oregon as well. I think, like I kind of hinted, not a ton of diversity, but when you look at it in terms of it's a 60,000 person town, more or less. That shouldn't be super shocking. We are not a major metropolitan area.
And I do think it's growing and changing, right? So we are seeing more diversity. Is it a diverse place? Maybe not by that standard.
And please help yourself to look at demographic information. But the facts are it's not super diverse. But again, for a town this size, I think that there's a lot of different kinds of cultural experiences that you can get still here in Bozeman.
Yeah. And I know, again, always getting better is, I think, the key. I feel like that's always being on the up and up.
Yeah.
Which is great for everybody. It's great for the community and everyone. Cause
I do think that we have also really strong kind of philanthropic organizations around town. The Bridger Ski Foundation being one of them, Gallatin Valley Land Trust being another, HRDC, which is help for the unhoused and, acts as a food pantry in a lot of cases. We've got great programs in terms of our library is very well funded and well maintained. It's a beautiful building. Mm-hmm. We have great, our Gallatin, the hockey arena here, which is, I guess you would maybe think that Montana and hockey, but they're putting $3 million into that per year for the next 6 years. They're adding another arena, adding a bar and restaurant, and like more concessions. And the community gets involved and builds these places up. And I think it's really, we are not lacking in terms of activities or support for different types of activities. I was amazed, and I probably shouldn't be, but the MSU Rodeo team is like the best in the country and is super cool. But I think that we have, we have a national championship football team. So everything here is really supported really well by the community, and that allows us to compete and to practice and exercise all of these things at a very high level, which I think is pretty cool considering Bozeman is, 60,000 people.
Still relatively small.
Yeah.
It really is, but it has, I would say, a lot of the things that, again, just it depends on what you're wanting to get out of your life and your lifestyle.
Yeah.
We've said that lifestyle really should drive your home purchase, and I also believe that that's true of a town, right? You want the town that you're living in to feel comfortable, welcoming, and like it's a good spot for you. I think that that's some of the things that matter most for your home.
Yeah.
Where you live.
And you will have lots of visitors. In my first couple years here, I had more visitors in, let's say, the first 18 months that I lived in Montana than I did in 10 years in Arizona. And you would have thought that all my Wisconsin friends would have wanted to come to Arizona, but no, they all want to come to Montana. So that it's good that we have a good airport. It makes it easy for them to come and go, for me to go visit them in return. But I definitely, there's a lot of beauty here in Montana. And Bozeman is kind of dead in the middle of it. So a couple hours in any direction and you can see something that you've never seen before.
Well, and it's really cool to be so close to Big Sky. It's the resort that the upgrades and everything that they're putting in there. They've done a new tram, new gondola, tons of new buildings and amenities for skiers. And the terrain truly is world-class skiing. They have some of the most advanced inbound ski runs in the country. And I would probably argue the world, depending. But again, inbounds being the key word there. But it really is a truly amazing resource to have about an hour and 20 minutes away from a town like Bozeman to me. That's a really cool difference to have something like Big Sky, which to me is big mountain, big resort skiing, and then Bridger Bowl,
which is like
family, local. Again, very cool, very complex terrain if you want, but has more of a laid back feel to it.
Well, I mean, Big Sky is longest 8-person chairlift in the world that they put in one summer.
And the fastest gondola in the world now.
And I like just the setup at Big Sky. Like an 8-person chairlift with heated seats and a bubble. Like, that makes, cold days a lot less cold.
I don't even know if it's skiing at that point.
I know, right? It's like, anyway, but so it's not just world class. Like, we have a lot and it's big. It's posh. It's luxury.
Well, it was something we heard at a seminar I went to, is that Big Sky is currently the only ski area in the U.S. that is still growing and expanding.
Yeah.
So they are putting in new infrastructure. They are investing in what's happening, whereas I do believe a lot of ski areas, or all of them, are not doing that. So again, having that close to Bozeman, I think, is something it's easy to forget, but can still be a real big driver for, again, Bozeman's amenities as well. If people fly into Bozeman, stay a couple nights, then go to Big Sky, or again, kind of on either side, you're not probably going to Big Sky without coming through Bozeman.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
So maybe a few people are, but pretty unique.
Most
there.
people want to get there a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, and then I think on the other side too is having not the other side, but just a different angle, 2 different national parks right around us, right? So Yellowstone National Park and then Glacier, which is more north, a little further away. Again, 2 truly world-class national parks that are very close to Bozeman. And again, you're probably flying into Bozeman to access either one of those.
Yeah. I think, just not surprising, but that there is a ton of different forest land around. So for camping and hiking and exploring, 10 minutes from downtown Bozeman, you can be out at the end of South 19th and going up the Bozeman Creek Trail, and that goes basically all the way to Livingston, if you really wanted to, through some probably pretty dense forest. But it does, just unbelievable amounts of trails and activities and outdoor. I think, again...
Well, our public lands is really such a big thing for Montana, and I'm going to say Montanans. We really value having those spaces that are available and accessible to all. And again, different levels, they're structured differently, but regardless, there's a lot of access for people, no matter where you're coming from or what you're doing. And I do think it's truly what makes our states so wonderful. Fly fishing, right? That's obviously another huge driver for tourism for us. And our river laws, they're unique, more unique than other states. And I think that does really help foster and continue to keep those industries profitable and relevant and valuable to our community.
Yeah. So okay, I'll give you a minute to think, but what are your top 3 favorite things about Bozeman? You think, I'll go, because I've been thinking.
Okay.
So I would say number 1 is probably MSU, because I do think that it not only, it's fun, it provides a great vibe. I think that MSU adds a ton to this town versus any other town of similar size.
Is this the only college town you've lived in?
No.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it is truly special.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that you can't deny the power of that influence in our town. Number 2, I think, is Bridger Bowl, because again, it can't be found somewhere else. It does have some of the most technical terrain that's accessible, and a season pass, if you buy it in July, is under $1,000. Wait, is it way under?
No,
it's getting close. 900.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
Yeah.
That is pretty affordable, world-class skiing. And Bridger Bowl has a ton of terrain. It's great for every level of skier, and that is to me truly special. Like, at the end of the day, when the people are having a couple beers on the back of their tailgate and their dogs running around and maybe they're doing a little grilling, that is a different thing than Big Sky, but that's pretty cool. And it's affordable and it's accessible, and it's definitely a driving thing in our community. Okay, number 3 might be a little tough, but I feel like number 3 is, this is going to sound really dumb, but hot springs. And not necessarily the Bozeman hot springs, but like Norris hot springs. And just the fact that all around us are a ton of great natural hot springs.
Have you been to White Sulphur Springs yet?
I have not. I did go to Chico though.
That is my favorite one. It's a drive, but there's a fantastic restaurant in White Sulphur Springs, and I think there is a cute hotel.
The Edith.
Yeah. Yep. I haven't stayed there yet, but it's on my list. And then Skiing Showdown.
See, yeah, and there are other ski areas around, but yes. Those would be my top 3.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird. The hot spring one, I might have pulled that out of somewhere, but anyway, hot springs. There you go.
My top 3 things. Well, I'm going to say number 1 for me is Bridger Bowl.
Okay.
That is what brought me here. I moved up here to ski with some dear friends who lived here, amongst other reasons. But yeah, Bridger Bowl is such a special community. Number 1 to me, that's what it is. It really is. We know so many people up there and really appreciate the work and the thoughtfulness that goes into making that ski area what it is. It's to me, just truly irreplaceable. So Bridger Bowl.
She's tearing up a bit.
I know. Gosh, number 2, I would say to me is going to be the trail access. I love how many different trails that I have access to. So again, national public lands, all of that around Bozeman. To me, if I want to walk my dog, I have any choice from just taking my dog to, the 100-acre park that's right across the street from our house for just a flat, nice, easy 20-minute walk. Or I could drive 10 minutes and go up the M, which is incredibly steep, and I could climb all the way up to Baldy if I want, and if there's low snow, which is a 4,000-foot vertical peak. So to me, there's all of those options, and I think that is what's so special about Bozeman is how, again, accessible the outdoors really is. Living in a town that does, to me, have far more amenities than the small town I grew up in. So Bozeman's about twice the size of Durango.
Okay.
And I appreciate just that larger size. I love that there is more, again, amenities, I'm going to say it one more time, and just a little bit bigger population, but it still has that small town feel. So pretty much anywhere I go, I feel like I can still run into somebody I might know.
Yeah.
And I love that about town. I love that I will be hiking the M and I will run into a client.
Yeah.
Or we'll be mountain biking somewhere and just randomly run into one of my dear friends, and she was biking as well, and we just didn't call each other.
Yeah.
So to me, I love that combo of a town that has enough going on where it doesn't feel too small, but you are still running into and seeing people randomly.
It's neighborly.
It is. It really is. And to me, really special. I think it's something that people are occasionally missing and hard to create too. I don't think you can just create that in a town. So I don't know if that was 2 or 3.
That's only 2.
Was that 2? I think the last thing that I will say, my third favorite thing about Bozeman, it's gonna be the job. I think I love my coworkers. I love my coworkers. I love what I do. And I love just investing in the community in ways that real estate allows me to do. Yeah. And I do think that feels really good for me. I love having some time to help coach a bike team or volunteer in places, and that's valuable to me. So
well, in our job, we get to show off this town all the time, right? So every day is kind of reacquainting yourself with all the reasons that you love it here. Mm-hmm. So I think that's great. I will do an asterisk, or number 4 potentially is we have great food here.
I was gonna say restaurants almost, because I grew up worked in restaurants for so long here, and I loved working in restaurants in this town. So it was so fun and so good.
4 James Beard nominees this year.
I think so.
In Bozeman.
Yeah.
Shan, Blackbird,
Wild Crumb,
and what else? There was not. I think there were 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have great food here, and usually accompanied by great service, because we have that great MSU.
The workforce
to pull from.
The other thing I'm going to say that is to me still so cool about Bozeman is there's definitely a newer level of restaurants that have, my husband works in a restaurant, and that to me is still, it's so lovely to have a restaurant in towns that truly offers really high level service.
Yes.
And we've heard that from people traveling around the world. They have tons of high end clientele and people that come back and go through, and they really enjoy eating at Heist because of the service and the level of attention that they have there. So to me, again, it shows just a really strong, just the fabric of a community where you have all of these different levels and layers throughout the same industry.
Yeah, like you can go eat at Sidewall Pizza in an old schoolhouse, and that's great. Or you can go to Heist and have somebody do the table butler for you, which is, I love that.
Yeah.
And you can do both on the same day, and you can wear the same clothes to both, honestly. So you're Patagucci.
Yeah.
No, but it's kind of got that like resort kind of feel vibe. Like, hey, come as you are. We're happy to serve you a very expensive meal with a super expensive bottle of wine while you're, still have your ski hat on. No problem. We're glad that you're enjoying Bozeman. Or you can go eat pizza, and they're happy to serve you with your ski hat on as well.
Yeah.
Like it's great. This town is very comfortable. It's both casual and sophisticated. It is vibrant. It is not hard to become a part of this community. No matter how old you are when you move here. I think there's some really active groups in terms of, if you move here in your mid-50s and you don't have kids, that there are ways to get connected, whether it's like a Facebook meetup group or hiking trails or getting involved with Gallatin Valley Land Trust or Bridger Ski Foundation or going to Outlaw Brewing and playing cribbage on a Saturday or Sunday or whatever. There's just a lot of ways to get connected.
And I will say, that, Kathy and I have mostly talked a lot about outdoorsy stuff because that's what we do. But I do know from peripheral friend groups that Bozeman has a really fantastic theater community.
Yes.
Right? So one of the brokers or one of the agents in our office, she's really involved in their theater community.
And fencing.
There's a fencing group, right? There's a comedy club now for people to do stand-up comedy that's
like open mic night?
Yeah. Well, no, Last Best Comedy. Have you
yeah.
Yeah, so those to me are all those things that as Bozeman is growing some, I know that there's now an old, there's a coffee shop or tea house that's open very late night for writers specifically. So open till like 2 a.m. And so it's been really cool for me, again, been here for over 11 years, to really see the community grow and adapt and flourish and kind of add some of these other things that, so again, if you're maybe not super outdoorsy, I still think that there's a wonderful community for you in Bozeman. It's just about tapping into it.
There's also, because she kind of said it, but great music. Like, believe it or not, there's, I was talking with another friend of mine about this, but there is great music that comes through Bozeman of all varieties. There's a Bozeman Symphony as well, but great music. Not only here specifically in Bozeman, but at Kettle House Amphitheater outside of Missoula or over down Pine Creek or the Old Saloon have had some really big names come through. And Bozeman has a bus that will take you to those to Pine Creek or Old Saloon for like $25. Like, I think artists that know Montana, I mean, John Mayer lives in Livingston, right? Or spends time
Paradise
there.
Valley. Yeah, they have a ranch out there. Yeah.
But like, people that are artists that come through, they want to be in Montana. There are some really big names that play in some really tiny places, which is my favorite thing. And outdoor places, which is even more my favorite thing. Not to go back to the outdoorsy stuff, but who doesn't love outdoor music? So, but yeah, I think Bozeman has so much to offer, and still a very small town vibe.
Mm-hmm. And that to me hasn't changed. Again, I've been here through a big influx of growth. Yeah. It still feels the same to me. I still run into people that I met when I was very first up here, and I love it. I truly love bumping into people and just saying hi and seeing what you're up to, because to me that's community, and that's I think what everybody wants in their life.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, obviously we both have dogs, so there's a whole big dog park, dog community, all the things. Again, we could just go on and on about it, which I think we've already done that. I think we've gone on and on a little bit, but if you have any questions or want more info on Bozeman, please feel free to reach out to us. We are always open to have a very candid conversation. We're not bullshitters.
Leave comments, and we're happy to, if you want links to any of the organizations that we talked about in terms of getting involved, like Bridger Ski Foundation or Gallatin Valley Land Trust or HRDC or anything else that maybe you want to look at what volunteering might be in one of those organizations. Please don't hesitate to let us know that you need that information. We're happy to help you get it.
Yeah. And if, again, you're curious about what life is like in Bozeman, we're happy to answer whatever questions may be, because we're very happy here and we love it. But it might not be for everybody either. So we just always want to make sure.
But it will be for everybody.
It's for the right,
So thanks for watching our video again. Please subscribe and like. You can get a hold of us. Our contact information is everywhere. And we're happy to answer any questions and help you decide whether Bozeman's the right place for you or not. So thank you.
Bye.